and welcome to Culture on I-24 News. I'm Oded Grober, happy to bring you another edition of our show. Today we'll talk to Swiss duo Cortis and Sonderegger about their photographic project Icons. We'll hear all about the film Bulgarian Rhapsody. And we'll discuss the career of Robert Plant after Zeppelin. We begin with Icons, a series of works recreating historic pictures on a small scale in a studio environment using everyday objects, sometimes even toys. Among the images recreated are those from the 9/11 terror attacks and the Hindenburg crash. The results are both beautiful and thought-provoking. I'm joined now via Skype from Switzerland by the creators of these photos, Cortis and Sonderegger. Hi guys, thanks so much for joining us. Can you please introduce yourselves?
Hello, my name is Joachim Cortis.
Hello, my name is Adrian Sonderegger.
It's great to have you with us. So tell me, how was this project born? How did it start?
We are two guys. We have now children, both two, and we are having a lot of fun of rebuilding those pictures because, in free time we play with the children, with toys, and now we can play while working. So it's really fun to rebuild those pictures.
But sometimes we just have to work.
Yeah, the story of our lives. So these pictures take historic moments, such as the Munich attack or pictures from the Abu Ghraib prison, and recreates them. But as you said, in a very playful way, were you aiming to make a political statement here?
No, it shouldn't be a political statement.
It's probably more a question about the medium photography, like is it true what a photography can show, or with the digital turn, photography is no more, does it show the truth?
I see. All right, but still, when you take a picture like the one from the 9/11 attacks and you recreate it in the studio, can you understand that some might find it offensive?
I can't understand. I understand like the problematic of these pictures, but these pictures are like really new. Like we lived during that time when these pictures are in the media. So maybe this is the reason why these pictures are so problematic.
Right.
I think if you show the pictures in a gallery or exhibition, it's no problem. It's art, and art can think about cultural event.
Of course.
But a couple who bought 9/11 picture from us, they show it in the living room, and they told us if people come and visit them, they always start a discussion about how can you hang this picture in a living room.
Exactly.
I mean, 3,000 people were killed on this day. How can you do this? And yeah, I think in a private situation, I wouldn't hang this picture in my living room.
Yeah. So, well, let's go back to the question of photographic truth. You decided to also recreate the pictures of the Loch Ness monster, for instance, which is already questionable.
There are pictures, like iconic pictures in the history, where the question is it really happened like this, or is it staged? Like Loch Ness, it's pretty sure it's staged, but we don't want to make that sure for every picture.
Yeah, and where does the moon landing picture fit in?
Yeah, I think this is also a perfect example for this stage photography. There are stories that Stanley Kubrick was doing these pictures in a studio, and I think the internet is full of stories like this.
Yeah, well, the internet is full of all sorts of stuff. So tell me, what was the most difficult picture to recreate?
Like there are hard pictures to build, and there are pictures which just takes time. And I think that Tiananmen with the tanks and the tank man, it was pretty long time we worked on it because we have to build the tanks. And then there are maybe pictures like with the explosions where we had to try out and see what technique works the best to rebuild the explosion.
Right. Well, the results are really impressive. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us today, and best of luck.
Goodbye. Thank you very much. Visit our homepage. Thank you very much.
We certainly will. Now, the film Bulgarian Rhapsody is an Israeli-Bulgarian co-production which focuses on the fate of the Jews in Bulgaria during World War II, but it is also the story of two teenagers and their first love. David Gombin met the cast and crew of the film and brought us this story.
Казвам се Соломон. Обичам да рисувам.
И момичетата.
Bulgarian Rhapsody takes us to the passage between childhood and adolescence, with the Second World War in Bulgaria as a backdrop.
Ето ви моето радио.
Moni, a Jewish teenager, and his non-Jewish best friend Giorgio both fall in love with Shelley, a beautiful young woman who lives by the sea. While they experience their little love story, the adults live through the tragedy of history.
My concern with Bulgarian Rhapsody was not to make a film about the Holocaust, but a film of deterrence. So my message in the film is to warn people, be vigilant, so that what happened during the Second World War remains in the consciousness.
The film also sheds light on the daily life of the Jewish community in Bulgaria. Bulgarian Jews spoke Ladino, a Judeo-Spanish dialect. Actor Alex Ansky, an Israeli actually born in Bulgaria, had to relearn the language of his family.
I speak Ladino, but the Ladino of a 4-year-old. It would have been funny for an adult to speak like a 4-year-old while talking about serious subjects, so someone had to be with us and teach Moni and me the right pronunciation and proper intonation. And this is precisely what the wife of the director did. She is fluent in the language.
The film completes the trilogy of director Ivan Nietzschev, After the End of the World in 1999 and Journey to Jerusalem in 2003. The apprentice of the great director Andrei Wajda once again wanted to convey a message of tolerance in a time of rising xenophobia in Bulgaria.
What intrigued me in particular is the reflection of the great tragedies of the great wars and all these horrors on the innocent and vulnerable, on these young people. They ask for nothing more than to live their lives as they learn in school or from their books.
The film is also the result of the work of Israeli producer Nissim Levy. Before starting the adventure of filming, he heard testimony from 18 Bulgarian Jewish families living in Israel, an adventure close to his heart.
The story that accompanied me all my life is this. In March 1943, I was 3, and I was supposed to be deported with the 8,000 Jews of Bulgaria and Macedonia. My deportation did not take place, but all my life I have lived with this story.
Bulgarian Rhapsody may have not made it to the Academy Awards, but the film succeeded in fulfilling the role of informing and reminding viewers that Bulgaria was, along with Denmark, the only countries in Europe that refused to deport its own Jews to the Nazi death camps. A scenario worthy of a film.
No Names, No Title at the Tel Aviv Museum of Art is the first solo exhibition in Israel for Albanian artist Henri Salah. Among the works is Salah's video installation, Ravel Unravel, which represented France at the 2013 Venice Biennale. We spoke to him recently at the museum. Here it is.
No Names, No Title is the name of the first solo exhibition in Israel of Albanian-born artist Henri Salah. Considered one of the most successful international contemporary artists, his works explore the complex interrelationship between sound and space and examines the concept of separation from its audio, mixing visual and social aspects with contemporary events, such as the Siege of Sarajevo. Most recently, Henri chose a controversial title for his exhibit in Tel Aviv.
I
don't always give names to exhibitions, but when I do, I like them to be very open, and sometimes they also come from events that happened. I was asked the title of this exhibition during the last conflict in Gaza this summer. I read somewhere that an Israeli human rights organization tried to broadcast on the radio telling the names of children victims, but when they did, they were silenced, like a censorship. And I thought that it wouldn't be very appropriate to give a name to my exhibition in this context, whereas their names were not displayed. So I chose No Names, No Title.
Salah's video installation, Ravel, Ravel, Unravel, which represented France at the 2013 Venice Biennale, is a central piece of this exhibition at the Tel Aviv Museum of Art. A subtle play on words based on the verb to ravel and its opposite, to unravel, as well as a reference to the famous French composer Maurice Ravel.
I was interested by the idea of interstice. I wanted to create a gap of two executions of this concerto, which Ravel wrote for Paul Wittgenstein, a noted pianist who had lost his right arm in World War I. And so I wanted to see how the same concerto interpreted by two pianists would create a gap. Once one is a little ahead, then the other would catch him. So it creates some space whereas it's played in the same time. And for Unravel, I asked DJ Chloe to do the opposite, to reduce this difference between the two interpretations to get back to the original Ravel.
His work, The Partition, is also fundamental to this exhibition.
This piece comes from another project, a film, 1395 Days Without Red, which was a multi-collaboration. It tells a story that takes place during the siege of Sarajevo that lasted 1,395 days. During this time, people in Sarajevo used to not wear red clothes because it caught the attention of snipers. And in this movie, there is a woman musician who has to go across the town to attend the orchestra's rehearsal. It's known that Sarajevo's orchestra kept playing during the siege. And to help herself to get there, she was singing the melody of Pathetic by Tchaikovsky. But since she sometimes had to run or hide, it influenced the way she was breathing, so it influenced the way she was singing. This partition represents Pathetic the way she was singing it according to her breath's irregularity.
For Henri Salah, the space of the Tel Aviv Museum of Art has proved to be a source of infinite possibilities. The artist's priority is not the place where he exhibits his work, but instead the resonance his work will have on the mind of the viewers.
And now Daniel Campos is here in the studio. Hi, Daniel. We're going to be talking about Robert Plant, right? Who we hear is still around, but he's not really felt.
Well, 66-year-old lead singer of Led Zeppelin. He just released his 10th album. I would say
solo album.
10th solo album.
Okay.
Yeah. He's had a few bands, always changing the names. His latest band is called Sensationalist Space Shifters. Excuse me. Always difficult names since 2012. And could he escape the shade of being a hit, one of the greatest singers in Led Zeppelin, to having a sort of unsuccessful, I would say, solo career? He's not Phil Collins, who left Genesis and, he had a...
Really took off, right?
Yeah. So he just released his latest album, Lullaby and the Ceaseless Roar. It had one song which made a lot of a hit on, was a hit on mainstream radios. It's called Dark Rainbow. Maybe we can have a listen to that.
Let's.
And I will be a rainbow. Oh, now your storm is gone. And I will bring the song for you. And I will carry on.
Sounds good. should. I mean, you know, he left Zeppelin behind. Maybe we should let him loose.
People keep pressuring him for a reunion, and he doesn't want to have a reunion. He doesn't want to reunite with, obviously, Jimmy Page, and he wants people to look at his new work.
Right.
So he's desperate for this. He recently quoted that he wants his own, let's say, Deadhead fans, just like the Grateful Dead had fans who embraced any work. There are musicians that after the Grateful Dead,
right.
He wants the same.
Yeah, I can't blame him. He certainly is trying. Maybe he'll even succeed more in the future. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Thank you.
That's it from us for today. I hope you enjoyed watching us. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of Culture. Till then, you can check out our website, i24news.tv, and I'll see you all again tomorrow.